What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Hope everybody is having a fantastic Thursday. Obviously, not great news from a couple of hours ago. We found out that both Luther Burden III and Rome Odunze will be out for this game on Saturday night. We'll get you caught up on all the injury news and notes for both teams. We'll take your questions. And I got my final preview and prediction for this one as first place is on the line in the NFC North. Producer Cullen, not the greatest news ever with both Odunze and Burden out, but we plug on here. Hopefully the Bears and Ben Johnson have a strong game plan to attack this Packers defense without Micah Parsons. Both teams have key injuries here.
Yeah, I mean, it's listen, the most important game for the Chicago Bears in the last 5 or 8 years, and you're without two of your most dynamic weapons. And listen, I mean, it's something that the Bears are going to have to overcome. They're going to have to adjust. And we were kind of talking about it before we went live here. I'm interested to see how they implement some of their other weapons, how their offense even looks as a whole without Rome Odunze and Luther Burden. But yeah, it's obviously rough news for Bears fans. You want those guys out there, but on the flip side, I am interested to see, Ben Johnson being the offensive kind of mastermind that he is, what he's got in store.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are going to have to coach around key injuries. This is why you pay Ben Johnson $13 million to figure out a game plan here. He's probably had a decent idea all week that these guys were going to be out, at least Rome. I mean, I think that's been pretty clear, but now Burden's out as well. We got a full segment coming up, some ways the Bears can adapt around these two guys being out, ways to attack the Packers defense. So we'll dive into that, but you would think utilization of more 12 and 13 personnel, getting 2-3 tight ends on the field. Got to get DJ Moore going. He's your one big-time healthy receiver in this game. So we'll see if all of that can happen. A couple shout-outs here. We got Decker and Rockford. Shout-out to Steven in South Elgin. John in Raleigh, North Carolina. We got Cameron in Memphis. Bear Down is in Tampa, Florida. We've got, Vancouver, Washington from Candyman. Bear Down in York, Pennsylvania from Professor. And Bears in Fairfield, Illinois. So shout out to everybody for tuning in. Get the FGBs in the chat as well. You guys know what the deal is. And then we'll get in a couple super chats here, and we'll break down kind of the injury statuses for both teams in further detail as well. One more Bear who's already been ruled out, Amen Ogbongbemiga, the special team linebacker, so he will not play. Good news, Cullen, Travis Homer is back, so that's kind of a swap in, swap out, special teams type of impact there. They don't do the exact same roles, but two of your better players in special teams, so at least you got Homer back in that regard, but Amen also not going to play in this game.
Yeah, and, listen, I mean, from a special teams aspect, it's kind of just one of those where, thankfully, Travis Homer, to your point, is going to play, so at least mitigates that a little bit. But obviously the story being the top two names on your screen, Rome Odunze and Luther Burden. So we'll see kind of just where things go. In that regard, we can also show the players that are going to be questionable here for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, he and his wife had a baby, so he's missed at least one, maybe the last 2 practices. I expect him to play. I think that's a technicality, having to list him as questionable. DeAndre Swift was limited the past 2 days with a groin injury. He should be good to go as well. We'll circle back to Tremaine Edmunds in a sec. Cole Kmet was full today at practice, so again, that's one of those where probable doesn't really exist anymore, so you got to list him questionable, but he should be full throttle. Then Tremaine Edmunds, who had his practice window opened this week, has missed the last month on short-term IR, was a full participant today in practice, so I'm hopeful they activate him tomorrow and get him on the active roster for Saturday's game. That would be a huge development for the Bears defense. All right, we got a couple super chats in here. We got Isaac saying, been hearing a lot about Illinois not doing anything about the new stadium due to J.B. Pritzker presidential aspirations and not wanting to give state money to billionaires. Thoughts? Also, Bears 27, Packers 23. Yeah, I did a short, just kind of an instant reaction stadium situation last night. I don't want this whole show to be a stadium show because, quite frankly, it's not that I don't care at all. I do care about it, but the Bears are finally good, and 3 days before the biggest game in 7 years, we hear how the Bears are going to explore other options now into the state of Indiana even for a new stadium location. It's like, we could talk about this in February. That's kind of how I feel about it. But, yeah, I mean, look, there's political factors at play. Regardless of Pritzker's presidential aspirations, I'm no expert, but, I think there's a lot of angles here. I think if he wants to run for president, he's a Democratic candidate. Well, policies of giving billionaires money for a stadium, that's probably not going to win him presidential points, right? And, if I'm a citizen, I understand that as well, because it's like, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to a stadium where billionaires own the team. I also understand the McCaskies and the Bears, who have offered to put up $2 billion of their own money, which is pretty abnormal in a situation like this. Typically, these stadiums are fully state-funded. So the fact that the Bears are willing to put up $2 billion, I think is a pretty significant gesture. But I don't know. It's going to be a mess. We're 4+ years into this now. There's still no resolution on where the stadium's going to be. We have not started the project. So I'm focused on the season. I'm focused on trying to beat the Packers, and hopefully the Bears win this game and take control of the NFC North. And, we'll have 7 months to talk about the stadium before next season gets started. But I think in general, Cullen, I'm kind of sick of it. I mean, it's just like you guys have been leveraging each other for years now. And, we're going to dip our toes into Indiana. It's like, all right, build the stadium on Mars. I don't really care. Like, let's play some ball and actually get to the playoffs for once. So that's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, this is something that just kind of keeps, appearing in the news just every so often, just to like, hey, just remember, like, I'm still like an issue that, needs to be dealt with and that needs to be talked about. And it's like, with all due respect, because obviously the, where the Bears will be playing, years down the line is going to be important. But, Chicago's in a, spot that they haven't been in such a long time in terms of competing, not only for the NFC North, but a high seed in the NFC. The playoffs are right around the picture. And look, I mean, obviously, this is going to be something that people talk about, but I'm with you. Like, it's Packers week this week. Like, that's the main focus I think Bears fans should have on their mind this week. And I think the stadium stuff it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So I'm with you. Like, leave it for the offseason, to be honest.
You know what's funny, too? I was thinking about it. I'll kind of leave it here. If we get super chats about it, I'll chime in. But I'll just say this. I kind of don't mind if this drags out for a little while now, and here's why. The Bears, for the first time in a while, are actually built to be a cold-weather team. We know the new stadium is going to be a dome. So, like, they want to drag their feet for another 2-3 years, let this kind of team that's built around this new offensive line and a physical running game and a quarterback who's kind of element-proof, like he can play in cold weather, a physical defense. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, I understand why they're going to build a dome, but yeah, I just, I care, but I don't care, if that makes sense. Like, I care in the grand scheme of things what happens, but right here, right now, I could not care less. Like, I'm worried about the game in 2 days, so. All right, we got Braden Hall. Been watching for a while now. Love the content. My question is, do you think the Bears will move their stadium out of Illinois? I will say this. I don't think they leave Illinois. I think eventually it'll work itself out. I do think the Bears are being serious when they say they'll explore Indiana. I don't think it's a bluff. I do think they're going to consider everything because I think they're tired of the political ramifications. But, yeah, I do think they will end up in Illinois when it's all said and done. Cornelius, I see some Bears fans are blowing these injuries off, thinking it's not a big deal. These injuries are devastating. Yeah, I mean, look, you didn't have Rome in the game 2 weeks ago, so you've played them without Rome once, but now you don't have Burden either. I think that's where it really hurts to not have both guys. Now, they don't have Micah Parsons. They did last time, so both teams have key injuries. But, yeah, like, Devin Duvernay is not going to replace Luther Burden. Like, it's not the same. So, yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, hopefully the Bears can still find a way to generate some explosives. You would think Colston Loveland at tight end. He's a guy You'd want to be operating the passing game through along with DJ Moore, potentially some Cole Kmet as well. But, yeah, I mean, it's two notable losses. There's no question about it.
That and just, I mean, we've talked about all season, right? The importance of explosives for this Bears offense, especially for Caleb, who, he's had his ups and downs when it comes to accuracy this season. This might just be a classic rock fight game where it's just kind of sitting there making sure you can move the chains. It's going to be 12, 13, 14 play drives that, if you dominate time of possession and are able to move the ball, cash in obviously when the opportunities present itself in the red zone, it actually might be more beneficial than the Bears hitting one play. Now, obviously you're going to try to look for it. It's not like you don't have that ability, but that's what this game's kind of feeling like it could potentially turn into.
Yeah, we saw that in Lambeau, right? On that one drive in the second half, 17 plays, 83 yards, just kind of a methodical, move the chains, extend the drive, finish it off type of drive. You might need a couple of those type of drives in this game because, DJ Moore is certainly capable, but if you're Jeff Hafley, I mean, you can kind of key in on him a little bit more now and force an Olamide Zaccheaus in a one-on-one situation, a Devin Duvernay, a Jade Walker, one of these guys to beat you one-on-one. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting chess match to see how that plays out. Daily basis, another super chat here. Appreciate it, guys. Time for DJ to be the hero we know he can be. Our defensive depth has stepped up throughout the season. Time for the offense to do its part. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see, how many snaps does Devin Duvernay play? Does Jade Walker get some looks, Colin? I mean, he made a lot of big plays in the preseason, which I don't put a ton of stock into, but, he's got some ball skills. You wonder if they'll have a couple plays in the playbook kind of dialed up for him if they get some man coverage looks that they like, because he's a bigger body with some good speed that can make some plays. So I'm curious to see if he gets any opportunities. But I think also doing things like we've seen sporadically throughout the season, hey, split Colston Loveland out wide on a smaller corner. I get him on Keyshawn Nixon. Keyshawn Nixon going to be able to defend him one-on-one, kind of run. You remember, was it the Bengals game? They ran that kind of deep slant concept in the red zone where they split him out wide, and he basically just had front leverage because the corner was much smaller than the 6'6" Colston Loveland. So I think finding opportunities to do stuff like that is going to make sense as well.
Yeah, I mean, creativity at its finest, right? Finding different ways to get chess pieces in different kind of advantageous, positions. DeAndre Swift's a natural pass catcher out of the backfield. Could we see him split out wide? You mentioned Colston Loveland against, a potential smaller cornerback like a Keyshawn Nixon could be something. This Bears receiving core, and we can actually flash who the current, at least on the active roster at this current moment, receivers are here for Chicago, are at this current moment. I mean, it's DJ Moore, it's Olamide Zaccheaus, Devin Duvernay, Jade Walker. Now, the Bears could obviously elevate either J.P. Richardson, or
Maurice Alexander.
Maurice Alexander, thank you. And one of these guys is gonna, have an opportunity to make big plays. Obviously, DJ Moore, the guy you're paying over $25 million for, you kind of expect him to kind of take that, mindset of being the number one this Sunday. But to your point, Jeff Hafley's probably going to key in on him, so that could create opportunities for both Olamide Zaccheaus, Duvernay, and Walker.
Yeah, this is a game where Olamide Zaccheaus go earn your paycheck. I mean, he's been kind of a journeyman who's been a number 3, 4 type of receiver on a bunch of different teams. Had a good year last year for Washington. Was pretty productive in Atlanta a few years back. Had a year in Philadelphia. He's been a guy who stepped up in the past before. Had a huge game against Detroit in the playoffs last year for the Commanders. I think he had a long touchdown. And in training camp we were calling him Zaccheaus, the yards after the catch. He's averaging less than 8 yards per catch this year. He's kind of just been that third down safety net type of guy. Is this a game where you find him on the move and can generate a couple explosives with him? He's shown that ability in his career, but he's going to have a full-time role. I mean, I would imagine a lot of 12 personnel, some 13, but in those 12 personnel sets, DJ and OZ, those are the two receivers. I mean, that's what I expect to see on Saturday night. Cornelius with the 2, he says, will Maurice Alexander or J.P. Richardson play? I was told by somebody I trust that if they elevate one, it's probably Alexander. He was with Ben Johnson in Detroit. Both these guys have return ability, but Alexander's got a little bit more juice, so I would guess it's probably him. I do think they'll elevate one of these guys. You need a 5th receiver to be available. just in case of injury, and to have some special teams depth as well. Alex, nervous for Saturday. It's a big game. Hey, listen, when's the last time we were nervous in December? It's been a while. Like this is what being a fan is all about. You guys should savor this. You win on Saturday against the Packers, you are very close to winning the NFC North. That's pretty rarefied air for this team the last several years. So enjoy it.
Being nervous is a privilege at the end of the day. Because
Yes.
if you're nervous, it means you care about something. And if you care about something, usually means you're involved with something important.
You know who's not nervous? The Las Vegas Raiders. And if they're nervous
Tennessee
about
Titans.
winning to ruin their draft positioning.
100%.
Landon Meeks, any wide receiver we can sign for this game? You're not getting someone off the street 2 days before kickoff to run routes in this offense. You got who you got. You got your 4 dudes who we just talked about and one of 2 guys off the practice squad. You got enough guys. They'll be okay. They are obviously not going to be as dynamic of options available, but you work with what you got. And you're not going to sign DJ Chark and have him play in 2 days. Like, it's just not a realistic scenario. Dennis with the 20. Appreciate you, Dennis. Pick 3 current players that would make good commentators after retirement. Who do you mean by Allen? Josh Allen?
Josh Allen, maybe.
Yeah, Matt Stafford, TJ Watt. Also, what recent offseason move, draft pick did you think was a lock to happen but didn't? Thought we were signing Trey Smith. Well, I still do think if the Chiefs kept Joe Thuney, the Bears would have signed Trey Smith. Instead, the Chiefs opted to go younger with Trey Smith, and the Bears were able to trade for Joe Thuney. So I think the way it played out, you were getting one of those 2 guys. So I still think that's a good call there. I'm trying to think.
Like really good personalities in terms of.
Oh, for the first part of the question,
commentating.
yeah.
Oh, well, I guess any other moves that you thought maybe were going to happen. Honestly, Ashton Jeanty, like leading up to the draft.
I do think if Jeanty was on the board when they would have picked him. And not that he's not a good player, but I think the way it's played out, it worked out in the Bears' favor. Loveland has really come on. Getting Monungai in the 7th round, I'm not saying he's going to have a better career, but he's been really damn good in this scheme. Now, I do think Ashton Jeanty behind this offensive line would be pretty awesome. But, yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, would I rather have Colston Loveland and Kyle Monungai or Ashton Jeanty? I'll take Loveland and Monungai. No questions asked. Commentators, trying to think of some entertaining personalities.
Yeah.
You know, he's back in the fray.
I think in a quirky way, Kirk Cousins would be.
I think Kirk could be good. That clip this week, he was pretty. That was pretty entertaining. Him talking about QB play.
Yeah.
I'm looking through just some teams right now. What about What about Baker? He's kind of a. I'm not a huge Baker fan, but he's kind of he's a pretty entertaining guy.
Baker would be a good one. Shout out to our guy that's sitting in here with us here on Bears Now today, Jameis Winston.
Oh, that's good.
Jameis Winston.
He was. Didn't CBS bring him in a couple weeks ago during the Giants bye week? Yeah, that's a good one. I think Stafford would just be good at I think he'd just be good at the job. I'm not saying he'd be like a John Madden type, but I think he'd be pretty good. Trying to think of non-quarterbacks. Who are just some characters in the NFL?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of Bears players.
Yeah.
I don't really stand out. I'd have to think more about that.
CMC, I guess could be a good one.
Yeah, he could be fine. I don't know if he's that entertaining though.
Yeah.
I want my commentators to either be really smart or really entertaining, or ideally both.
Yeah.
Ideally both.
Devin Witherspoon's pretty entertaining for Seattle. I think that would be probably who I would pick per se. Entertaining. He technically isn't in the league. Well, he's not on a team at the current moment, but he still, I guess, could be signed this offseason. Christian Wilkins, feel like he'd be pretty entertaining.
He's a good mic'd up guy.
Yeah. Xavier Legette, someone says.
Just for his voice. Fantastic.
Yeah. No one really, I don't think most people would understand. We need to get Adam Thielen then to translate. Apparently he was the only one in Carolina that could understand what
really?
Xavier Legette was saying. during like team meetings and stuff.
I'm going to think about that more, Dennis. Decker, Loveland going to ball out Saturday, calling it now. I took him in my Prize Picks lineup, Demon pick to score, so I hope you're right, Decker. He's a guy you would think that you're going to run some concepts through in the passing game. I mean, I would expect he and DJ Moore are the primary read on 75% of your passing plays this week. That would be my guess. Dennis again. Soldier will be the loudest it's been since when? Probably 2018, I would guess. That clinching game against the Packers, probably since then. Bear down for life with the 5. Colston and Cole will both have 5+ catches and 60+ receiving yards and a touchdown. Well, if they both do that, it's going to be a good day. Defense will get 2 picks, 3 sacks. Bears make a statement, win 35-10. I got my official prediction coming up, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. If they win 35-10, that's going to be pretty impressive.
Someone mentioned Kevin Byard as potentially entertaining.
He'd be a good one for the Bears. Yeah, he's well spoken, understands the game well. He's on a podcast and he's pretty entertaining.
I'm seeing also George Kittle, Cam Scattaboo.
Kittle would be a good one.
Kittle would be a good.
Kittle would be fantastic. Scattaboo, CTE ball. Maybe he can take over CTE ESPN once AB goes to jail. Ramsey T, Jade Walker legacy game incoming. I would not be shocked if Ben had a player or two dialed up for him. Yeah. I could absolutely see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, again, during the preseason, showed some flashes. Again, how much is preseason worth? But
I do think there are things you could take just in terms of like he's really good at going up and getting the football, right? Like, it's not like I don't value that much in terms of like your stats, but he's got good body control in the air. Like, that should translate. Now, whether or not he can get open against, true top corners, but the Packers corners aren't that good. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they get a one-on-one look with Walker if they give him a chance, maybe in the red zone. Luke, if not the number 1 seed, how many smoking Jays for the 5 seed being the easiest path to the Super Bowl? I guess you're saying easiest, not easy, period. It's still hard as a wild card team because you got to go on the road. Now, sure, you'd get to play the NFC South winner. I think whoever is the 5 seed is going to be favored against Tampa or Carolina. That's Bears included. So, yeah, I'd feel good about their chances winning that. But then, you're probably playing the 1 seed unless the 6 or 7 wins. You're going to go to L.A. and win. It's going to be tough. Going to go to Seattle and win. It's going to be tough. So, I also don't think the Bears will be the 5 seed. I think the loser of Seattle-L.A. with potentially the 49ers mixed in, one of those teams will be the 5 seed, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think, NFC West seems like it's very likely to potentially get the 5 seed, whichever one of those 3 teams kind of sits there and lands on it. But
it feels like the NFC West is going to get the 1, the 5, and the 6 or 7, with the Bears or Packers, the other one getting the 6 or 7, and not the 2.
Yeah,
I know what you're trying.
I didn't say anything.
Too much 6-7.
I didn't say anything.
Matt Bellick, Jacobs DNP all week. Think he'll play. He's going to try to. LaFleur left the door open today, said he and Zach Tom will be given until inactives are due on Saturday night. I'll call Jacobs 50-50. I don't think Zach Tom plays. I think that's less than 50-50, but it wouldn't shock me if Jacobs gave it a go, wrapped up that ankle and knee, and tried to tough it out. But I could see Green Bay kind of resting him too, getting him ready for the final 2 weeks. We'll see.
We'll see. He's had games, though, where he's kind of sat out all week and then they get him ready for game day.
Well, I think that's one of those positions, too, especially for vets. Running backs, how much reps do you even want to give them in practice at this stage in the season with how much they've been hit? So I do think there's a chance he plays.
Yeah. Matthew says, who are we rooting for tonight? Well,
I think Seattle. And not just because our producer Colin's a Seahawks fan, but the Rams' last 2 games are the Cardinals and the Falcons. I think it goes Falcons, then Cardinals. The Seahawks are the Panthers
and then
the 49ers. It's much more likely that Seattle could lose one of their last 2 games than the Rams. So you root for Seattle this week, and then if they lose one of their final 2 games, that's the path if the Bears were to win out to get the 1 seed potentially. So I think Seattle's the play.
Bears fans?
Yeah, listen, we're on the same page tonight. Eyes of Madness, feeling good about this game, but losing Luther Burden III worries me a bit. Yeah, I mean, it's big time playmaker who's been trending up in recent weeks, so definitely sucks. Hopefully he's ready to go for next week against the Niners because that's another big game. Crisis King, $5. This is a test for our backup and practice squad receivers to step up. Our defensive backups have proved themselves. Example, DeMarco Jackson. Let's get this win. Yeah, and I think this coaching staff deserves a lot of credit because they've just kept plugging away despite having guys banged up all year, especially on defense, to your point. So we've even seen performances like Britton Brown at running back, in the middle of the year. He gets called up from the practice squad, has a pretty notable role. So there's been examples of backups making big impact. I mean, the left tackle thing, you've had – it was Braxton, then they went to Theo, now it's Ozzie. Like, they've all had their moments. So, yeah, this team's done a good job of having that next man up mentality. How many more we got here? Before we get to
just
our
this
first
one and
segment?
another one.
All right, we got Dennis Martians on the line. Fate of the universe.
Give me Jade.
Give me Jade. Let's go, Dennis.
The old Max Kellerman quote.
He was also, what was Jade? He was like moonwalking when he was scoring those preseason touchdowns. So we get a little Jade Walker moonwalk on Saturday night to send the Packers packing. That'd be nice. The Notcast, Jameis plus Gruden in the booth would be peak television. That would be entertaining.
Yes.
That would be entertaining.
Yeah. I think Gruden in general just in the booth is something that we took for granted a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if a big network would hire him again, but he was fantastic on Monday Night Football back in the day. Andrew, Bears 27, Packers 20. Jordan Love 3 touchdowns. Caleb Williams 4 touchdowns. So I guess the Bears are missing an extra point in there. Williams will use Loveland, Moore, and Kmet. Yeah, I mean, those are probably your top 3 pass catchers, right? With OZ and Swift as some other options. So yeah, no question about it. All right, we'll kind of re-hit the injury news here real quick, and then we'll kind of hop into our first segment. A lot of guys questionable for the Packers. Josh Jacobs, who hasn't practiced all week, same as Zach Tom. I do expect Christian Watson to play. He has practiced the last couple of days. So has Dontavian Wicks, so I think they'll both go. Evan Williams has not, so we'll see about him. Chris Brooks was limited, so was Darian Kennard. Kingsley Enagbare came down with an illness today. You would think he would be good in 2 days. And then Colin Oliver and Brenton Cox still on short-term IR, trying to push back to play in this game. We'll see if that happens. Marshawn Lloyd is out. He retweaked his hamstring. Josh Wiley in the concussion protocol. And then John Williams dealing with a back injury. For the Bears, we've beaten it to death, but Rome Odunze and Luther Burden are out with a foot and ankle injury. Amen Ogbongbemiga dealing with that hamstring, one of your core special teamers. He is out as well. Also questionable, Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. He and his wife had a baby, so I think he'll be back to play Saturday, but he's missed some practice here. DeAndre Swift has been limited with the groin this week, the last couple days. I think he should be good to play. Tremaine Edmunds, full participant today. We'll see if they activate him off short-term IR. If they do, he should play a good amount. Could be on a pitch count. We'll see. And then Cole Kmet, who was full on Thursday, dealing with an ankle and knee issue, but should be good to go. All right, thanks to everybody who's tuned in so far. Hit that like button. Let's get more Bears fans in here. Sends a little message to the YouTube algorithm. Helps us out. Helps find more Bears fans, so we would appreciate it. Here's what we got coming up on our live show. What is the Bears' game plan without Luther Burden and Rome Odunze? I go through some things that I think Ben Johnson could do to help still be effective offensively. We'll take more questions, hashtag Bears or Super Chat, and then we'll get into our final Bears-Packers preview and prediction. All that and more is coming up here on Chicago Bears Now. With Rome Odunze and Luther Burden officially out against the Green Bay Packers, what is Ben Johnson's game plan going to be to attack Jeff Hafley's defense? We're going to try and figure that out here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. If you still believe that the Bears can win, get the FGBs going down in the comment section. It's always F Green Bay here on Chicago Bears Now. Let's make it happen, and let's dive into this episode. All right, Ben Johnson has his hands full as he's a little short-handed offensively going into this rematch against the Green Bay Packers. We all know what's on the line, first place in the NFC North. How will Ben attack Green Bay without Rome Odunze, without Luther Burden III? Let's try and dive into that a little bit. Okay, I think the most obvious thing you're going to see, because this team already does it a decent amount, but that is more 12 and 13 personnel. For basic football watchers out there, that is 2 tight ends, 2 receiver, 1 running back, and 12 personnel, 3 tight ends, 1 receiver, 1 running back, and 13 personnel. We've seen the Bears use 13 a decent amount this year, and we've definitely seen a lot of 12. And you got 2 really good tight ends. Durham Smythe is a solid 3rd tight end as well. I think you're going to see all 3 of these players play quite a bit. Obviously, Cole Kmet and Colson Loveland already basically have full-time roles, but Durham Smythe's, 15 to 20 snaps, that might turn into more like 25 to 30 snaps in this football game for the Chicago Bears and their offense. So I expect all 3 of these guys to play quite a bit. I even wonder, I doubt they'll do this, but is there a world where they elevate a 4th tight end off the practice squad? Depending on when you're watching this, we could know practice squad elevations already, so keep an eye out for that. They're definitely going to elevate a wide receiver, but we'll see if they have a second elevation as well. Okay, number 2, and part of that is playing heavier 12, 13 personnel, but be physical in the run game, right? 2 of your big-time playmakers on the outside are out. Well, 2 of your other playmakers in general, 2 of your better ones, come out of the backfield. That is DeAndre Swift, who's flirting with the 1,000 rushing yards, and Kyle Monungai, who's just shy of 700 as well. This 1-2 punch has been fantastic ever since the bye week. So I would imagine you're going to see Ben Johnson lean on these 2 guys early and often in this game behind this offensive line, which, if you remember, in that matchup in Lambeau, by that second half, late 3rd quarter into the 4th, the Bears were the stronger, more physical football team. This offensive line started to impose their will on Green Bay, especially in the running game, and Monungai and Swift were eating in that 3rd and 4th quarter. So play heavier, be the more physical team. And, adjust off of that. If they start bringing in a 5th down lineman or, stacking the box, then that's where you can start hitting them with some play action to DJ Moore, Colson Loveland, Cole Kmet, Olamide Zaccheaus, etc. But you're already a team that wants to run the football. I think you lean into that even more with some of your heavier jumbo packages. 6th offensive lineman utilization with Theo Benedict as well. I think you'll continue to see all of those things. All right, today's show is sponsored by Rocket Money. Your boy just bought a new house, which is exciting, but more than ever, I've got to stay on top of my finances. And Rocket Money is a personal finance app that can help you do just that. It'll help you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and help lower your bills so you can grow your savings. A couple features in general that I want to point out to you. You can get alerts if your bills increase in price, which happens all the time, unfortunately. You'll get alerts if there's unusual activity in your accounts, if you're close to going over budget, and you'll even get alerted when, hey, you set a budget and you're on track to not go over budget. So a little positive reinforcement there for you guys. Rocket Money can even try to negotiate to lower certain bills for you. The app automatically scans your bills to find opportunities to save, then goes to work to get you better deals. They'll even talk to customer service so you don't have to. Rocket Money has saved users over $2.5 billion, including over $880 million in canceled subscriptions alone. Their 10 million members save up to $740 per year when they use all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/bearsnow today. That is rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. One more time, rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. Link is in the comments and description. Okay, go be that dude, DJ Moore. Really good game last week, couple of touchdowns. After the game, got a game ball and said it feels good and all that type of stuff. Like, hey, it's time now. Like, you're that guy this week, at least at the receiver position. Maybe Colson Loveland, whatever, gets more opportunities in general. But, like, you are the clear number 1 receiver in this football game. After him, it's Olamide Zaccheaus, Devin Duvernay, and Jade Walker and a practice squad option. So DJ Moore needs to go out there and be that number one. And even if that doesn't mean going for 100 yards, like command double teams. Because if I'm Jeff Hafley, I'm trying to take DJ Moore out of the game. Well, if DJ Moore is consistently getting open in one-on-one looks, that's going to force Hafley's hands to take him out of the game. And then that should help you find some other one-on-one opportunities, or maybe that lightens up the box a little bit. You're able to run the football. DJ Moore clearly believes he's still a number one receiver. Go play like one. Go command that attention so it frees up others, and you make plays for yourself as well. I thought last week was really encouraging with Caleb giving him a couple of opportunities, especially that wild play in the back of the end zone. We'll see if he's able to deliver in this game once again. All right, our Week 16 subscriber battle is ongoing, and we slightly are trailing the Packers report. They have 514 new subscribers. Here on Bears Now, we're at 437. Can't let that continue. Let's make sure we close the gap. If you want free and daily Bears content, hit that subscribe button. Let's take those boys down. All right, number 4, split Colston Loveland out wide. And what I mean by that is use him as a mismatch option, not only in the middle of the field on linebackers and safeties, but how about Keyshawn Nixon, smaller corners? Split them out, see how the Packers choose to defend. You get a man-to-man look, like that should be kind of just barbecue chicken, right? Even if he doesn't separate greatly, he should have front leverage. We saw them run that deep slant concept against the Bengals for about an 18, 20-yard touchdown, and he just face-guarded the guy because he was able to kind of box him out. So I think getting Loveland in some more natural receiver positions in this game, we know he's capable. He can run like a receiver, and he's a great route runner, has strong hands. Find those opportunities to split him out, red zone looks, etc., to go and do his thing. So, you just got to be creative. You got to adapt. You got to have guys do some different things than maybe they normally do. But we've seen the Bears do this from time to time this year already with Loveland playing out in the perimeter. He's got the ball skills, the receiver skills to do that. I would expect to see that quite a bit. And then lastly, you need Olamide Zaccheaus to contribute. When they signed him, it was like, okay, he's a decent 3. He's a great 4, which when they drafted Luther Burden, it was like, okay, he'll probably end up being your 4. Well, early in the year, he was your 3 with kind of mixed results. Burden has clearly surpassed him here, but he's still a capable player. Now, one thing we haven't really seen him be this year is Zaccheaus, yards after the catch. Remember, we were talking about that in training camp because apparently he was getting a lot of yak in training camp. But he's really been more of like a safety valve. The one play where he was going to have a chance to run for a while was that play against the Commanders earlier this year, and he dropped the football. Well, maybe this is a game you can free him up on some kind of a rub route concept, a mesh concept, where you can get him out in space and yards after the catch. He did that a lot last year for the Commanders in that offense. So this is an opportunity for him to prove like, hey, I can still be a starting caliber receiver when other guys are out. So hopefully OZ can step up to the plate because he's going to play heavy snaps. When you're in 12 personnel, 2 receivers out there, he's going to be that second guy. The only time he's probably not going to be out there is in 13 personnel. 11, 12, he's out there. So we'll see what he's able to do. Obviously, it'd be nice to get some contributions from Devin Duvernay and Jade Walker as well. But I think DJ and OZ, those are going to be the 2 guys that play the primary amount of reps at receiver. Get those score predictions in. Bears, Packers, who wins? What is the final score going to be? Let us know down in the comments section below. I'm still very hopeful that Ben Johnson and company will have a strong game plan, have a strong approach, and find a way to move the ball effectively offensively. Just need some extra guys to step up here, and if they do, I think the Bears will be just fine. Hit that subscribe button. Join us for our watch party Saturday night at 6 o'clock Central Time. And bear down. All right.
Bear down from H-Town says, run the rock, FGB.
Let's go.
It's going to, if you had a guess, carries for Monungai and Swift this weekend, or this Saturday, I should say. It's got to be, 30, between the 2 of them, obviously, like close to 35, maybe even 40 times potentially.
Say what?
How many carries combined do you think Monungai and Swift will have this weekend?
Let me see what they had a couple weeks ago. I just sent you something, by the way.
Okay.
Trying to remember what they did in that last game against the Packers. Just wouldn't make sense for those numbers to go down on the other one. So they had 13 for 63 for Swift, 14 for 57 for Monungai, 27. I will say it's more than 27 this week. I don't know if it's like Philly where it's like 40, but I'll say it's between, I'll say between 28 and 35. I would shoot for 30 plus carries between those two guys. Now, if you're just ripping off 6-7 consistently, yeah, maybe it is like a Philly type of approach, but I still think that the Bears will look to be pretty balanced in this one, even though they're down a couple of weapons.
Fair enough. We got Johnny. Got to get the run game going sooner this time around against FGB. Hot take DJ with another 2-touchdown game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a scalding take. He's going to get opportunities, you would think. I will say this, though. This was the talking point coming out of it. Remember the last time they played the Packers, Rome didn't play in that game either. DJ Moore, 1 catch, -4 yards. Like, I know Burden was in that game, and he won't be in this one, but they clearly made it a point of emphasis against Cleveland, like, okay, we got to get DJ more involved. So hopefully that carries over. But, yeah, I'm with you, especially if, the pass game is just going to be a little out of sync early with some different guys in there. How do you settle everybody down? You just kind of turn around and hand the ball off. So I would imagine a little bit more of a commitment to the run early in this one. But we'll see. We'll see what the approach is.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see, too. This feels like an unsung hero could be emerging this week. I mean, if there was ever a time, right? I mean, I don't know.
If Olamide Zaccheaus were to ever go for like 6 for 85 and a touchdown, this would be it.
Yeah.
This would be it. And I will say this, even though you're down a couple of your receivers, with Micah out, I do think there will be concepts where you're trying to take advantage of Green Bay's pass rush being way less effective.
Right.
Like, you can't just be like, well, Luther and Rome are out, so we're just not going to throw the football. Like, I still think you got to find opportunities to take your shot plays. And now Green Bay doesn't have that guy that can just blow up plays like that. So
100%.
I still expect those plays to be built into the game plan.
100%. 100%. Jay, love your work. Go. Ooh, we got a Packers fan amongst us.
Hey, listen, I appreciate it from behind enemy lines, but it's FGB. You guys know the deal. But that's classy of you. Not many of you classy Packers fans out there, but Jay Marcel is one of them. So I appreciate it. Now, in all seriousness, should be fun Saturday night. Hopefully we get you guys back, but appreciate the kind words.
Make sure you guys use #Bears or Super Chat to get on the show because we are about to get into a mailbag here on Chicago Bears now. Could be any questions. Could be, how many targets you think Colson Loveland will have this next game. What seed do you think the Bears will be in the NFC playoffs? Whatever questions you guys might have that you think Harry would have an answer to, which he's got a lot of answers, let me tell you. Feel free to ask them using #Bears.
The encyclopedia of Bears mailbag answers, they say.
Yes.
I just made that up. No, we'll take your questions. Whatever you got, fire them at us. We'll get them on the show, and we'll keep this thing rolling. I still got my final preview and prediction coming up, so stay tuned for that as well as we continue to roll along. Here on a Thursday, feels kind of odd. Games in 2 days. 2 days.
It's a Saturday game, too. I mean, we obviously got the college football playoffs starting this weekend as well. It's going to have a different feel on Saturday. It will.
It's going to be interesting. I'm excited.
Always locked in, brother. Always locked in. Okay. Yeah. Pero, it's a good question. Lacora. Honestly, don't hate that.
Colston goal line motion TD. Well, like a jet sweep.
Like one of those where like maybe Caleb's in the shotgun, Colston comes in motion, then it's like under center, like
yeah, it could happen.
Maybe.
They tried that jet sweep with him last week, and if it was blocked up better, it would have worked, but it was not.
It was not.
It was not indeed.
Yeah, feel free to keep firing in those questions here.
It's Good question by Elite Run. We'll get that on the show. Little Aussie action. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Ooh, Matt Bellick. That's a good hypothetical. Why can't we just renovate Soldier Field? You can, but it's 100 years old. To put a retractable roof on there would cost over $1 billion, I think. So it just doesn't really make sense. And the city still owes a shit ton of money on the current stadium from the last renovations. So it's a mess.
Tis a mess.
6-7 says, guys, let's take a moment to appreciate everything Harrison and Cullen have done for us. You guys are absolute legends. You guys are absolute legends. We appreciate that, though. We try, man. We try. We're up here, 5 days a week, and on the week and on my days off, I'm still doing shit as well. So we're bringing it. We're trying to be the best Bears content creators we can be. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Appreciate all the love, guys.
You guys showing up makes it go, so appreciate it.
Yeah. No, and seriously, also y'all's support been absolutely unreal recently. Seriously, thank y'all.
It's been easily the best football season for a lot of reasons. Number one, the team's been fun. That always helps. But, the feedback, the audience has never been better. So you guys have been incredible, man. So let's keep this thing rolling. We're not at the end.
Not even
Got
close.
a lot of ball left. So a lot of big, meaningful football to play, which is nice. Usually I'm like 6 mock drafts in by now. I've only done 1, and that was because it was the bye week.
Yeah. That's
pretty remarkable for this show.
Yeah. You still get your itch on your 4Verse channel.
Yeah, listen, I love the draft, and I do, I've done 5, 6, 7 mock drafts on 4Verts. Actually, I have one going out tomorrow if you guys want to go check that out. But, it's been nice to not have to go to the well, in October, November, December for little Bears mock drafts. But for you guys fiending for them, they will come this offseason. Don't you worry. All right, we're going to get into our mailbag now. So hashtag Bears or Super Chat. Let's go ahead and let it rip. Coming up, we got a Chicago Bears Now mailbag. So go ahead and use hashtag Bears to get your questions answered on the show. You can also use the Super Chat function if you want to guarantee yourself a spot in this mailbag. We'll answer your questions for 10, 12, 15 minutes or so. I am now on TikTok. Your boy took the plunge, and the early response has been awesome. So thank you guys so much if you've already followed me. Bears, NFL, and college football coverage over there. Going to put out some TikToks as often as possible. Still kind of learning the TikTok game, if you will. But would love to get to 1,000 followers ASAP. We're at 410, trying to get to 1,000. At HGramNFL over on TikTok. If you're watching live, I'll try and get that link in the live chat after this mailbag. All right, we've got Ferguson. How long till Judon is a Chicago Bear? Well, he did clear waivers on Thursday. My guess is he does not latch on with the team this week. He's going to let these games play out, see if there's an injury to a pass rush needy team or something like that, and then kind of look at the landscape. I don't know how much is left for Matt Judon, but, as I said when I first broke down this idea when he was cut initially, if he clears waivers, if you want to sign him to the practice squad and elevate him for a game, see how he does, cool. Clearly he wasn't going to play in this game against the Packers, too quick of a turnaround, but we'll see. I would imagine some team brings him in, and maybe the Bears are that team. I don't have high expectations, though, even if the Bears bring him in. Matt Bellick, what's more likely? Defense gets 3 takeaways or Caleb gets 3 touchdowns? It's a good question. I'm going to go Caleb 3 touchdowns. It's probably pretty close to even odds there, but I'm going to go Caleb 3 touchdowns. This defense obviously has been very good at taking the football away, but the Packers don't give it away much. I'm going to go Caleb 3 touchdowns more likely. Just beat Green Bay. How should Dennis Allen defend Jordan Love? Well, last time they tried to blitz, especially on some money downs, and they got burned. And listen, a couple of those I called for a blitz. It didn't work out. Sometimes you bring pressure, it's picked up. Sometimes they get it out quick. Sometimes you get burned. That's the risk of blitzing 6-7 guys. I'm not saying you don't blitz at all. I do think I would probably take more of a bend, don't break approach. Play more coverage. Your secondary is mostly healthy, and see if you can force Jordan Love to be methodical. He wants to take those shots downfield. So if you can kind of eliminate those opportunities for the most part and force him to dink and dunk, then you clamp down the red zone, force field goals. Maybe he forces a ball and you pick him off. So I think that would be the vast majority of my approach. I would play more coverage in this game. If you want to get revenge on the Packers, get the FGBs down in the comments section. Let's take down those frauds, those SOBs, and take control of the NFC North. All right, Mason Weiss, how many starting defenders do you believe won't be a Bear next year? Well, guys who are free agents, Jaquan Brisker, Kevin Byard, Nahshon Wright are free agents. I think that's it. I think everybody else is under contract because you have some backups. Like Andrew Billings he plays a lot, but he's technically a backup. The C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who's now a starter, is a free agent. I'm going to guess that Jaquan Brisker's gone. You re-sign Kevin Byard. I think there's a decent chance you re-sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson too. I think Nahshon Wright's the wild card. Do you let him walk and just roll with Jalen and Tyreek Stevenson? Do you try to bring Nahshon Wright back? Does he take a little discount to stay here? What happens with Al Harris if he goes? Does he follow Al Harris to his new stop? So I think he's the wild card, but I think between Brisker and Byard, they'll keep one, let the other walk. I would guess they would value Byard over Brisker. That would be my thought, but it's early to tell. I mean, all these guys, you can make the case to bring them back, but we'll just have to wait and see. Cuttis Kingdom, is this Darnell Wright's week to get a touchdown with Mike out? Do you think Ben would try to get it to Theo again? Nah, you probably wouldn't go back to that same Theo play. The Packers have seen that now, so you would think it would be a different wrinkle. Maybe this is the time you get Darnell Wright. Maybe you bring in Theo as an extra lineman, but Darnell Wright's eligible on the play, and you slip him out on a hard play fake on the goal line. Maybe this is a week to do it. Being thin at receiver, kind of go to your tricks here if you're Ben Johnson. So we'll see. I've said all year I think Darnell Wright is going to be involved in a trick play at some point, and you're running out of games here. So we'll see if this is the time they pull it out. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. We appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. It's the best time of year with the holidays being here, and it's the best time of year for sports as well. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes, it's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right. That is Prize Picks. I'm done with season-long fantasy. I'm all in on DFS now, and no one does it better than Prize Picks. From their injury reboots, from their max discount opportunities, just being available in 45 of 50 states. It's as good as it gets, and the way you play is simple. You take more or less on stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups, and if you hit, you win money. I took more on Caleb Williams' passing yards this week, 209.5. Colson Loveland, Demon play to score a touchdown. Love it even more because Rome Odunze and Luther Burden are out. And then Jordan Love took less on his passing yards, 238.5. $20 to win $130. Check it out today. Download the Prize Picks app. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. It's good to be right. We got Dennis here. What would be the most realistic path to a Super Bowl? Realistic? You probably got to getting the 2 seed really helps. Let's say the Bears get the 2 seed. You want to pull up the playoff picture real quick here. Let's say they get the 2 seed, depending on when you're watching this, Rams or Seahawks. One of them will be the 1 seed. We're filming this before Thursday Night Football. Let's say the Bears beat the Packers, split their final 2, get the 2 seed. I think that probably means you get either San Francisco or Green Bay as the 7 seed. I think if you beat Green Bay this week at home, you at least feel confident in playing them again. Let's say it's the Packers. You beat them at home. And then you get either Philadelphia or Seattle or San Francisco probably in the second round. That's probably what you're looking at. I mean, you get Philadelphia at home. I like that matchup if I'm Chicago. They went into Philadelphia and beat their ass, so I think you'd be feeling pretty good about that. And then you're probably going to have to go through either the Rams or Seattle in the NFC Championship game. You'll probably be an underdog in either scenario, especially if it's on the road, which it likely would be because in that scenario, that's probably the 1 seed. So, yeah, I mean, you'd have 2 matchups you'd feel decent about and then 1 tough one. Can you win a tough game on the road? We'll see. Long way to go. Got to clinch a playoff spot first, but yeah, that's kind of the avenue you're looking at, which is if you get the 2 seed. All right, Christian Edits. How do we get pressure on Jordan Love? If he is chilling in the pocket all day to throw, he will pick us apart. Yeah, I mean, I said it. I still think I'd play more coverage in general in this game, but I agree he can't have all day to throw. If Zach Tom doesn't play, can Montez Sweat get some pressure? The last couple weeks I've been kind of disappointed in Montez Sweat. He didn't pop very much against the Packers. Against the backup right tackle against Cleveland, didn't really stand out to me much there either. So if Zach Tom's out, can he take advantage of him being out? We'll see. But I just know this: last time you blitzed, you got carved up by Jordan Love. I mean, he was fantastic. I would just rather, again, you can't let him sit back there forever. I'm not saying never blitz, but you got torched last time you did. So I think early on, I'm playing coverage in this game, and I'm trying to force him to throw into tight windows. Obviously, if he's got 5 seconds in the pocket consistently, you're going to have to change it up. But my plan A would be to blitz less frequently in this football game. Subscribe to the channel. We do these mailbags every Monday, Thursday, and game day, which this week is Saturday. We'll be taking your questions. Daily content, short form, long form, live shows 3 times per week, watch parties, and Monday and Thursday. Whole lot more as well, previews, injury updates. We cover it all. If it's Bears related, we're talking about it. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and do not miss out. All right, no C. Is there a shot Jade Walker can have some sort of a game? He seemed to be decent in the preseason. I'm curious if he is any good. I mean, I'm guessing he'll get a few snaps. I think it's a big ask. I would not go into this game having expectations that Jade Walker is going to make it a big impact, but I think he's capable. I mean, look, preseason, I don't think you can take that much from it. But things that you can take are just the style of play, what he does. I thought his body control in the air, strong hands, his speed stood out to me. So I think there could be a play or two that Ben dials up in this game where you take a shot to Jade Walker in a one-on-one situation, but are you going to run your offense through him? No, but I do think if he's going to contribute in a game this year, this is probably the one. Bear down for life. Do the Bears clinch a playoff berth with a win Saturday? Technically, no, but they're very close. If they win Saturday and the Lions lose or tie on Sunday, they would clinch. Now, if they were to win and Detroit were to win, it gets postponed for another week. But the Bears are awful close to clinching. I think their playoff chances right now are 83%, and if they win, it jumps up to 97. So they're in a very good position if they can win this game on Saturday to not only make the playoffs, but to win the division. They would only have to win one more game or have the Packers lose one more game if they win on Saturday night. All right, last one here from Anthony. Appreciate all the questions, all the super chats as well. Happy holidays. Favorite Christmas song? Mine is Please Come Home for Christmas. Favorite Christmas song? It kind of depends on the mood. I am a big Christmas music guy. What's the one with what's-her-face that is always top of the charts? The Mariah Carey one. That's a classic. I mean, you can't go wrong there. All I Want for Christmas Is You. Is that what it's called? That's good. I mean, all the classics are good. I'm really not I don't like this or that Christmas song. I think they're all good. So, yeah, if you guys have a favorite, drop one in the comments section. All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in. You can find me all over social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok now, at HGramNFL. We're trying to ramp up the TikTok, so if you want to follow me over there and support, I would greatly appreciate it, at HGramNFL. Same handle, all 3 places. We'll see you over there.
Yeah, I was trying to look some up on the fly, but yeah, Mariah Carey's, Jingle Bells, obviously. What's y'all's favorite Christmas song? Holly Jolly Christmas. There's like the classics, right? Rockin' around the Christmas tree. Like that one. It's always a good one. Y'all let us know, though. Austin that sent in a chat says, maybe it could be different for once. Chicago deserves joy. Chicago does deserve joy. Bears fans deserve joy. And they should have gotten it almost 2 weeks ago when they played the Packers originally in Lambeau. But, hey, what better time to right a wrong than Saturday?
It's time, man. It's time. Let's get this thing done. The Notcast. I was wondering why my girlfriend was working overtime. She just surprised me for Christmas. First row. I'm a diehard. My first game at 24 years old. That's a keeper. You proposing at the game? It sounds like that's what you need to be doing. I don't know how old you are, but wow. That's wifey material right there.
Round of applause.
Wifey material. Shout out to Mrs. Miss Notcast, not
Miss
Mrs.
Notcast.
Yes, Miss the Notcast.
Don't speed anything.
Whatever your name is out there, we approve of this message.
Yes.
Billy D, old Chi-Town guy here now in Portland, junior high when they drafted Sayers and Butkus. Wow, I want to say I appreciate you guys. You watching daily now. That's a long-time fan right there, Billy. We appreciate you for tuning in.
Old Chi-Town guy.
Shout out to Bears fans everywhere.
Yeah.
DG, I'm nervous with Odunze and Burden out this week. Yeah, look, it's a concern, but, got to roll with the punches, right? Next man up, DJ Moore, OZ, the tight ends, run the rock. Let's go. Moz Tanker, Gary losing Bearweather to a dome was bad enough. This chess match is going to go on for a while. My advice, I would not worry about it for the foreseeable future. The politicking is not going to stop. Let's focus on the 2025 team. The stadium, one thing or another will happen. When? I don't know. I'm kind of done worrying about it. Eventually, something will happen. How long is that going to take? Where is it going to be? I don't know. I still think it'll probably be in Arlington eventually, but it just is what it is right now. Dr. Shrimp, hopefully we're fully healthy for the playoffs. Well, pretty much no one's fully healthy, but yeah, hopefully they're as healthy as they can be. Hopefully Tremaine gets back and stays back. Could you get Kyler back for the playoffs? Maybe. Hopefully, I think Luther will be back and healthy. I think there's a chance Rome plays at some point, but it's a stress fracture. That's not going to heal on its own. They're probably going to have to clean that up this offseason regardless. So, if they feel like he's healthy enough for the playoffs, you would think they would play him, but we'll see. It's kind of one of those years in the NFL, Colin, where there's a lot of key injuries, and it's like, who's going to be the last man standing? That's kind of what it feels like this year.
Yeah, it's one of those seasons, like every season, where the injury gods will see who they kind of favor, and hopefully, it falls in favor of the Bears and all that stuff. Ultimately, injuries are just the worst way, because you never lose because of one thing or another, but injuries is just, it's something that can really derail momentum and everything.
Well, and that's why the good news for the Bears is they have a physical offensive line and they can run the football. Those are things that translate into postseason football. If their O-line is healthy and they got those two running backs, that is just something you can lean on, regardless of who is and isn't available. Unless, 3 O-linemen go down, which, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But yeah, I think that's where the Bears have been very fortunate, Colin, is other than left tackle, which you've now landed on the guy who's been the best, is you've been healthy up front on your offensive line, and that's been huge for this team this year. So hopefully that continues. Alex, FGB, Gary Bears need to take care of business. The Gary, Indiana Bears. That would be something. Frankie, I was so stoked to see you on TikTok. I almost cried. I don't know if I'm worth crying for, but I appreciate it. But Gary Bears just doesn't sit right. I'm hoping just a scare for the Park District FGB. I mean, all this stuff is leverage and politicking. I do think there's some seriousness to it, though. I think the Bears are probably fed up with Illinois legislators. So, how do you apply pressure? You talk to a different state. We've seen this with the Chiefs. They've gone back and forth with Missouri and Kansas. So, it's kind of an advantage when you're near the border of a state. You can, okay, Northwest Indiana, 45 miles away. We'll see what's up. So, is it a leverage play? Are they serious? A little bit of both? Probably a little bit of both. TJ, TNF, who you got? Also, Kyron Williams or DJ Moore in my flex. Ooh, that's tough. How has Seattle been defending the run?
They're really good against the run. Also, Blake Corum's been getting more of the workload for the Rams as of late, which Kyron's in terms of running backs in fantasy, there's not many that are safer than Kyron Williams. So, and again, Seattle, not trying to be biased here, they are pretty good against the run. This is one of those where, it depends on what the rest of your lineup looks like. If you need something that's safe, I would probably say the floor will be higher with Kyron.
Agreed.
But if you need a boom play.
DJ could pop for 20, though.
Good.
And I always get nervous playing Thursday night guys late in the season because, guys are so beat up, short week, and it's it's brutal when you play a guy, then you get out of that game, he has 6 points. You're like, oh, fuck.
Because Irving did that to me last week.
You're playing catch-up, so I could really go either way here. I mean, I don't know what the projections for each are, but they're probably not too far off. Kyron's probably, 14, 15 projected. DJ might be 12, I would guess, something like that.
Depending on which, PPR, standard, whatever league you're in.
If it's standard, I would definitely play Kyron Williams for what it's worth. If it's PPR, I would think about DJ.
Yeah,
especially
if you're kind of thinking hey, you may need an extra take a risk, you want a potential higher upside.
Especially if you're a dog in this game. Yeah. If you're the underdog, if your opponent is favored, then maybe go DJ Moore.
Yeah. Also go Seahawks tonight.
Yeah, we're rooting for the Seahawks. Do you genuinely believe they'll win, or do you think this is a toss-up game?
I think this is a go either way.
It's pouring rain. I don't really know who that favors.
I mean, look, Rams can be physical. They obviously have a really good rushing attack. Seattle at times has looked really good, but their defense, I think, can give the Rams issues. So I think if Charles Cross is playing tonight, I would have stronger feelings about this. But I don't know. There's a lot of Puka Nacua, there's a lot of storylines around him, too. The Rams team, there's a lot of noise. Yeah. So, I genuinely don't know.
No Devontae Adams. Is this an underplay, 42.5? Pouring rain?
Is it down to 42.5?
That's what ESPN's got it at.
Might be. Like I said, they're doing everything they can to, try to preserve the field so that it's not wet come kickoff. But, yeah, it could be rainy tonight.
Isaac.
No, this is Moz.
Sorry, Moz. Curious, how do you feel about the NFL's pivot to indoor stadiums? I feel like it's lacking, I assume, a vital element, or taking a vital element out of the game, like removing umpires from a baseball team or bringing the DH to the National League. Yeah, I mean, I'm conflicted. I understand why these teams do it because, especially in cold weather cities, you can run concerts year-round. You can do other events, but I do hate the thought of 50 years from now, Cullen, there's no NFL team playing outdoors. The idea of that does seem shitty. Now, there might be certain, would the Packers ever build a dome? I'd guess probably not, at least not in the foreseeable future. But, yeah, I mean, there's something about having to go to Chicago in December and it being 15 degrees and potentially snowing. So
it's the advantage also gets taken away from those teams slightly if they were to get the 1 seed, right?
Yeah, I think sometimes that's been overblown because a lot of I'll use the Packers for example. A lot of those Aaron Rodgers teams were not built for the cold weather. They you have the advantage in the sense of you practice in it all the time and that type of stuff, but sometimes you're just not this current Bears team is built for cold weather, but a lot of years in the past they haven't been. But yeah, it's
Christian. Actually, that one doesn't that. Actually, I don't hate that idea. Home team could have the choice to open the roof, a retractable.
Yeah. The Bears have said it will not be retractable. That'll be a fixed roof. And I think that's an economic thing. It's a lot cheaper apparently. But
for sure.
I don't know. I understand both ways. I'm with you though. Like I like weather games. The only time I would not like it is I think the Super Bowl
needs to be in a controlled environment.
Or at least look, if it's in the South and it's raining, so be it. But I don't think the Super Bowl should be played in 7 degrees because it's a neutral site game.
Right.
Home field. Until then, it makes sense because, hey, we got home field. Come play in our freezing-ass weather. But again, that gets back to why these cold weather cities are building domes. Why? Because they want to host a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Chicago is never getting a Super Bowl again if they don't have a dome. So how do you get a Super Bowl? You build a dome.
Yeah. Seattle will never get one until they build a dome.
Yeah.
Same thing. All these northern teams across the United States. Lambeau Field will never host a Super Bowl.
I mean, I'm shocked they got the draft.
Yeah.
But that was in April, not in February.
Right.
So, Drew, what is the Week 18? When is it set? I think they'll set those just right when Week 17 concludes.
Right, yep.
Usually that night or Monday morning they'll announce because the reason they keep those flex is they don't want to give certain teams advantages based on when they're playing, in terms of if they want to sit or rest starters. And they also want flexibility on that Sunday night game being a win or go home scenario for a couple of teams. So that's really why. That's really Tampa. My early guess for Sunday night is Tampa, Carolina. Winner wins the division, loser goes home. Which it's kind of a dud, but
it makes sense.
It makes sense because they don't want the competitive advantage. Could be Bears-Lions if Detroit has to win to make the playoffs. That could be a possibility.
Yeah, if they lose to Pittsburgh this week, doesn't Chicago? If they beat Green Bay, Chicago clinches the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Yep. But there could still be a scenario where the Bears have clinched, but Detroit has to win. But the Bears would still want to play starters for potential seeding. So we'll see. That game's a possibility, I'll say. Dr. Shrimp, I'm 19. Just want to see a Bears Super Bowl win in my lifetime. Also, we need a pass rusher next year. Yeah, I mean, we've beaten that dead horse. That's got to be priority number one in the offseason is getting pass rush help. Whether that's in the draft, free agency, trade. I do think there will be some trade buzz with this team on trying to get a big-time pass rusher. So we'll have that all covered once the offseason gets here. The Notcast, who should I start? Stroud, Brissett, Burrow.
I will say this. I thought Brissett was going to have a down week last week against Houston.
Still put up decent numbers.
Jacoby Brissett, don't hate it.
Against the Falcons at home, I'm kind of with you. I think I'd go Brissett. I know that Stroud's playing the Raiders, but what if they just get up big early and he's out of the game or something? And then Burrow at Miami, he just seems kind of checked out on this season. I think I'd go Brissett. It's crazy that sounds like that kind of feels like the safe play. Here's a sneaky one if he hasn't been picked up. Kirk Cousins.
Ooh.
Would you play Kirk Cousins against the Cardinals? Because he's fighting to prove he can be a starter next year. So
I don't know. Jacoby Brissett would be my choice, though.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. Seg 3.
Bears-Packers preview, final prediction. And if you haven't already, by the way, go check out the joint preview we did with our Packers Report host, Joey Peterson. That went out on the channel this morning. So if you missed that, go check it out. But I got my final kind of keys to victory thoughts as we get to Bears-Packers Part 2. Let's do it. All right, we are so close to Bears-Packers Part 2. I got my final preview and prediction with some final injury news to discuss here on today's show. If you want the Bears to beat the Packers, hit that like button. I want to set a channel record. Our record for a single video on this channel is 3,512 likes. If you want to beat the Packers, you should want to set that record. So hit that like button. It's going to take all of us, and let's go. All right, Bears, Packers at Soldier Field, as this line's kind of gone back and forth between Green Bay and Chicago. We'll see how that moves. We're filming this Thursday p.m. here at Soldier Field on Saturday night. We're not filming at Soldier Field. That's where the game's going to be. Let's take a look at some numbers for both of these teams. Bears ninth in scoring at over 26 points per game. Defense is, slowly picked up. It was bottom 5 in points allowed due to that Lions and Browns game for a while, but up to 21st there, 24 points per game allowed. The turnover margin's been massive, plus 20. It's a big reason why the Bears are 10-4. Fifth and third down offense. The third down defense has slipped a little bit. The Packers torched them in that regard a couple of weeks ago, so hopefully Dennis Allen has some better answers on third down this week, down to 13th in the NFL. You look at Green Bay, 10th offensively in points per game, just under 25. 8th in scoring defense, obviously no more Micah Parsons. 9th in turnover margin at plus 3. First and third down offense, that was definitely on display a couple weeks ago. And then 17th in third down defense, allowing first downs 39.3% of the time. You look in the red zone, the Bears early in the season started hot. Middle of the season really struggled. Last 4 or 5 weeks been really good. 15th now in touchdown rate in the red zone at over 59%. 22nd in touchdown rate allowed at 60.5. Bears 7th, or Packers 7th in red zone offense, just under 65% touchdown rate. And then 24th in red zone defense, giving up touchdowns 62.5% of the time. Now, Thursday, 3 players were ruled out for the Bears: Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, and Amen Ogbongbemiga. Obviously, Rome and Luther, notable losses for this offense, and Amen O, a key special teamer. But Travis Homer is back, so that should help. The following players are questionable. I do expect most, if not all, of these players to play. Now, depending on when you're watching this, we might have clarity on Tremaine Edmunds if he's been activated off short-term IR. As we film this on Thursday, he has not been activated, but I do think he's going to play, so hopefully that's the case, and then the other 3 guys should be good as well. Packers have a lot of guys that are questionable. Josh Jacobs, Zach Tom, 2 guys to watch. They did not practice this week, but Matt LaFleur says he's given them until those inactives are due on Saturday night, so keep an eye on that. Christian Watson, I do expect to play, as I do Dontavian Wicks. I don't think Evan Williams will play, but we'll see. Chris Brooks, Darian Kennard, Kingsley Enagbare, questionable. Enagbare dealing with an illness, so chances are he should be fine. And then we'll see if Colin Oliver and or Britton Cox have been activated again. Keep an eye on the news cycle there. Out for the Packers, Marshawn Lloyd, Josh Wiley, and John Williams. Obviously, Micah Parsons no longer in the fold as well. It's been a battle between us and the Packers report this week in our subscriber battle. They have picked up 649 new subscribers this week. We've picked up 578. If you want to take them down, if you want free and daily Bears content, hit that subscribe button. Join us tonight for our Bears-Packers watch party, tonight being if you're watching on Saturday, and should be a whole lot of fun. Okay, one big change in this matchup is Micah Parsons is out. He obviously tore his ACL against Denver and is out for the season. And that's a big difference because Micah Parsons blew up a bunch of plays in that first matchup, as he's done all year long. Jeff Hafley's done a really good job of moving him around, playing him at edge, playing him inside, using him as an off-ball blitzing linebacker. And now I expect Jeff Hafley to have to try and manufacture pressure, which is something Dennis Allen has had to do this year. He's had to blitz more than he probably wants to because the Bears don't have defensive linemen that consistently win on one-on-ones. Well, now the Packers don't really either. Rashawn Gary's kind of like Montez Sweat. He's a good player, but he's not a dominant player. If the Bears can neutralize him, which is a lot easier to do than to neutralize Micah Parsons, then Chicago's going to be in a good spot. And if Jeff Hafley is forced to blitz, then the Bears should have opportunities to beat it. Does the pendulum swing to Chicago with Micah Parsons out for this game? I kind of think it does. I'll get into my keys to victory coming up here in just a little bit. But first, got to tell you about our awesome sponsor. That is Rocket Money. It's a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and help lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money will show you all of your expenses in one place, including subscriptions you forgot about or subscriptions you no longer want. And if you want to get rid of those, cancel those subscriptions, Rocket Money will help you do just that. If you've got a goal you'd like to save for, a car, a house, which we just bought a house, Rocket Money can analyze your accounts to find the best time each month to start putting extra money aside. Rocket Money has saved users over $2.5 billion, including over $880 million in canceled subscriptions alone. Their 10 million members save up to $740 per year when they use all of the app's premium features. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions, reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/bears now. That's rocketmoney.com/bears now. rocketmoney.com/bears now. That link is in the comments and in the description. Start cutting back on your spending with Rocket Money today. All right, keys to victory. Take advantage of Micah Parsons being out. I think there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Number one, you can run more traditional pass play concepts and more that take longer to develop. Those play action deep shots, deep crossers, verticals that we know are built into this Ben Johnson offense that you really couldn't do that often against Green Bay the first time. A lot of the big plays you had to try and generate was to get Caleb Williams on the move, which you still want to do that because that's a strength of his. But now you can do more drop back pass game because you should be able to trust your offensive line to hold up more often than not. You can obviously play heavier with your tight ends, which you're going to want to do because you have Luther Burden and Rome Odunze out. You're going to be sitting in 12 personnel a lot anyway and just run the football. So I think there's different areas that you can take advantage of. Not only Micah being out, but Devontae Wyatt being out. They're pretty thin on their defensive line, so I think Chicago is going to recognize that. Number two, I expect Jeff Hafley to blitz quite a bit. You need to find answers for those blitz looks. Like, that was a big issue, or that could be a big issue if you're not ready for that. I think Ben Johnson will be. If I'm Ben Johnson this week, I'm thinking Jeff Hafley is going to blitz me quite a bit. So I am looking to counter off of that. Slants, find your hots, having Caleb Williams understand those situations because Jeff Hafley has not had to blitz a lot this year. Why? Because Micah Parsons is wrecking game plans on his own. So I think Hafley's going to be more creative and, maybe slip some screens out off of it to beat those blitzes throughout this football game. Okay, number three, blitz Jordan Love less. It didn't work the first time. It did not work the first time. Now, I'm not saying don't blitz him at all, but Jordan Love against the blitz, 9 for 12, $171, 3 touchdowns, almost a perfect passer rating. The Packers did a good job picking those up. Jordan Love did a good job of either getting rid of the ball quickly, which he did on that quick slant to Christian Watson, which went untouched for a touchdown, or kind of just drift, which he does, throw off his back foot and find Bo Melton for that deep vertical touchdown. The Bears should have a bend, don't break approach, which is don't blitz too often, play assignment football, tackle well. Bears are second in the NFL in missed tackle rate. They do not miss a lot of tackles, although they did miss a key one on Josh Jacobs on that final drive in the last matchup. Tackle well and try to get off the field on third down or in the red zone, right? Force field goals and don't get burned on these explosives because a big reason why you lost the first matchup is Green Bay generated more explosives than Chicago. That was a big story in that football game. All right, lots of 12 and 13 personnel. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Some of that is just you're going to have to do that because you're thinner at wide receiver without Rome Odunze, without Luther Burden. But I think that's kind of a cornerstone of this offense anyway, especially 12 personnel. Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, use those guys as extra blockers, run the football, be physical. We saw in this matchup last time in the second half, this offensive line and this offense as a whole was wearing down the Packers defense. Even Micah Parsons on some crucial plays was on the sideline sucking wind. He was gassed. I think this offensive line and these tight ends helping out can wear down Green Bay. So hammer them with the run game and then get play action going off of it with Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, those guys slipping out for some downfield opportunities. And then the theme of the week is get revenge, fuck Green Bay, and go win the North. You can't clinch the NFC North this week, but you can get very, very close. If the Bears beat the Packers, they're a game and a half up in the division with 2 weeks to go, meaning their magic number is 1. They only have to win one of their final 2 games, or the Packers simply have to lose one of their final 2 games. Now, obviously, the Bears' final 2 games at San Francisco, at home against Detroit, not gimmies, but the Packers still have to play Minnesota and forget their other game, but they still have a couple of tough games as well. So you win this game, you're going to be in a very good position to seal the deal against the Packers and in the NFC North. So with all that being said, predict the score. Bears, Packers, who wins? What is the final score going to be? Before I realized both Luther Burden and Rome Odunze were going to be ruled out, I actually had the Bears 31-20. I kind of like Chicago to drop a mini hammer on Green Bay, not blow them out, but just kind of win this game convincingly. I still think the Bears win this game. 27-20. I think Micah Parsons alone just wrecked that game in so many ways the first time around. Green Bay doesn't have him anymore. Yeah, you're going to have to work around some things. You don't have Rome. You don't have Luther. But I think the Bears still have enough here. I trust Ben Johnson to have a good plan. And I think Caleb Williams in his last 6 quarters, that second half against Green Bay and that entire game against Cleveland, has kind of found his groove a little bit. And I expect him to make some big plays. So give me the Bears 27-20. I think they beat Green Bay. I won't call it easy, but I do think it'll be clear that they were the better team in this game. And they take command of the NFC North and are in firm position to clinch the number 2 seed in the NFC with 2 weeks to go. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to this episode. We will continue to pump out content. And, of course, join us for Bears Packers live watch party, 6 o'clock Central on Saturday night. Bear down. All right, Chris, I fear Green Bay is going to lock down
DJ, the tight ends, and force us to run. I'm nervous.
I just don't think their secondary is good enough to lock down all the Bears' weapons. I get it, you're down a couple key guys, but I think part of their secondary and especially their corners playing better than expected this year is how good their front 4 has been at generating pressure, and that's been largely due to Micah Parsons. Listen, if Keyshawn Nixon can clamp down DJ Moore, more power to him. But I think there's going to be opportunities. Evan Williams, I don't think he's going to play. Who's going to guard Colston Loveland? I think that Green Bay is probably going to have to play a decent amount of zone, and they're going to have to blitz more than they want to. And if you can't take advantage of that, hey, tip of the cap to the other team. You couldn't do it, but I think there's going to be opportunities to generate big plays. I just do. I think you take Micah out of the mix, short week to prepare. Even with Micah in the second half of that last game, the Bears offense did pretty much whatever they wanted until that very last play. I trust this Bears offense. I trust Ben Johnson to have a plan and for this to be a game where you can find some opportunities. And really, Colin, the key as well is you just can't come out flat the entire first half. You basically did not do anything for 30 minutes of football at Lambeau Field, and yet you still had the ball in the final minute with the chance to tie or win the football game, and that was with Micah Parsons. So I get you don't have a couple of key weapons yourself, but I still think the Bears have a good shot to go in there or to bring the Packers to Soldier Field and to win this game.
We'll see also what the status is of not only Christian Watson, but Josh Jacobs, Tremaine Edmunds. I think he's going to be a factor for the Bears on that side of the football in the front 7. I think if him and TJ play together, they could really potentially cause problems for the Packers' rushing attack, which then forces them to potentially get out of their offensive rhythm. And I think they're going to learn their lesson. I don't think Christian Watson's going to have, explosive plays. It feels like every other drive or, whatever it was for Green Bay. And I think that they'll take approach to your point that you just talked about, more of a bend but don't break. Make them methodically beat you downfield and not get kind of these easy chunk plays that really felt like made the difference in that one. So
yeah, for sure. You can't let Christian Watson get loose multiple times. All right, let's get a final little FGB chant going, and then we're going to sign off here and mentally prepare ourselves for a little Saturday night football. I'm excited. Saturday night prime time.
Prime time, baby.
And it's kind of a beauty and a curse, I guess, playing Saturday night. The beauty is if you win, sit back, relax, watch the Sunday games. If you lose, you're starting to map out, all right, what's the best case scenario today to help the Bears still be in a good position with 2 weeks to go. So hopefully they can win. I feel good. I do feel good. The Luther thing's a blow, but, I think the Bears can fight through that. So shout out to Bear Down, Lacura. We got FTB in there. Mother FGB from Death Industry. MFGB. I kind of like that. Toggling says he'll be at the game. Enjoy. Have fun. Bring home a dub. Let's go. I got Robert in there, 6'7", saying 6'7". No surprise there. All right, we're going to get out of here. We will see you guys live on Saturday. Plenty of content between now and then. Check out my new TikTok at HGramNFL. We'll see you soon. Bear down.